Good evening. This is the intellectual Nicolas, leader of the Republic of MENTELLECT. Tonight I'm doing a expose, if you will, basically giving people a background into an individual who is currently on YouTube and has taken to social media and radio platforms to copy my teachings of MENTELLECT, which come through me directly from on high, from our ascendants in the future, which I said is the almond race. This individual's name, he goes by the name of Zzurayass, right? And he's been on YouTube. He's on YouTube currently, and he's putting out a bunch of videos. And he's starting to get a little bit of a buzz. And the reason being is because he's copying MENTELLECT. Zzurayass, a.k.a. Nicolas Jackson, was a member of the Republic of MENTELLECT. And around the year 2000 or a few months, I think it goes back into 2000, from 2019 to 2020. He didn't stay long. His name is Nicolas Jackson. He's from Las Vegas. All right. He couldn't stay in the Republic of MENTELLECT. He was in our California chapter. He was under the California chapter and then from the West Coast chapter under our people out there. And he joined the Republic of MENTELLECT. And after a few months or 2, 3 or 4 months, maybe, I don't think he made it about 6 months to a year, he left. He faded out because he couldn't pay his dues of $144 a month. Okay? This was the excuse he gave. I have emails he sent me where he stated as such. I didn't know that he was taking the broadcast that I was teaching on. I've been teaching really since starting 2003, but coming on the radio teaching and setting up and doing MENTELLECT radio since 2012. Okay, well, I started off teaching, and I've done well over 2,000 broadcasts under my belt, and I've touched on everything from the difference between the soul and the spirit, the fourth dimension, the third dimension, the second dimension, and what black people are. I brought out the whole bronze people and the difference between the bronze and coming out of the black. I brought out the bright race. All this stuff came from me, through me. The word MENTELLECT came from and through me, okay, by way of Amen. And me bringing forward this knowledge, me bringing forward this future knowledge, this extended knowledge, and I stand on this, and I'm still doing broadcasts today. I have several channels on YouTube. All you got to do is type in MENTELLECT. You'll see all of the broadcasts we did. And the reason why we have a hard time on YouTube putting up new broadcasts is because YouTube is constantly flagging our channels. People are reporting the video. I don't know if people are reporting them, but they flag our videos because, not because we threaten anybody, not because we, not because we pose any threat or any danger or, to anybody, but they feel offended by the reality that we state in MENTELLECT. This is why you don't see a lot of MENTELLECT videos. Problem with that, and we went on other platforms like DTube, and we come on Patreon, and we're going to have things streaming from our own site, which is DROM.org. Go to the DROM.org for membership in the Republic of MENTELLECT. We are a real community. Let me go back to Mr. Nicolas Jackson, who goes by the name of Zzurayass. Before he called himself Zzurayass, he took pieces of our language, our Mentellian language, which we have our own language. This individual started out his channel, right, under Nicolas Jackson, and he changed it to Zzurayass. He started this channel 4 years ago. All right, this is before he came into the Republic of MENTELLECT. Now, if you look at his videos, go back and look at his page, you see he's talking about forgetting all religions and seeking spirituality. Now, he was a big proponent of spirituality, like all other black people who didn't know anything, who wasn't on no reception of anything. This individual had videos going back 4 years where he got 35 views, 20 views, 15 views, things like that. I'm looking at his video, his timeline now, right? Leveling up on consciousness. Basically a lot of babble. Basically a lot of copying from other people, because this individual wants to be obviously seen. He wants attention, and he wants to be seen as a teacher who's bringing some knowledge to the people, but he is a phony and a fraud. Why do I say that? Am I against this person going out and setting up his own YouTube channel and teaching? No, I'm not against anybody doing that. What I have a problem with is people who are going to copy me. I mean, to the letter. That's like you making a song, right? And you went in and you thought up on a higher level, received some higher level of empowerment and intelligence to bring out something that's going to move the people, something prophetic, and then somebody comes behind you and does the same thing and acts like it's coming from them. I don't know how you people would react to that, because when I received this reception, when I put it out to the world, as I've been doing since 2012 on Blog Talk Radio, and we started getting on YouTube about 2013, 2014, around that time, right? Probably a little earlier. And to actually put this work in, you see, because it's more than me just doing radio broadcasts. If you look on YouTube, you'll see why I sat and I've done podcasts. I've sat in front of the camera, and I've taught, and I still do this. I've done lives. Not to mention that I do a radio broadcast 7 nights a week, MENTELLECT Radio. I own the rights to the word MENTELLECT. So this individual comes into the Republic of MENTELLECT. Like I said, prior to this time, all he did was talk about spirituality. All Nicolas Jackson did, a.k.a. Zzurayass, the fraud. All he did was talk about trivial things like the sky and filming the sky, all kind of goofy stuff. All kind of black conscious stuff. He didn't have any, there was no talk about no reception, none of this. I'm looking at it, real sun or sun stimulate, all this stuff he has up there from a year ago. And then, when he comes into the Republic of MENTELLECT, right, because like I said, all up to a year ago, 70 views, 49 views, nobody was really checking for him, right? Healing properties of cymatics, just some made-up nonsense from a year ago. So I don't scroll through his timeline, and people need to really see the origin. Because how do they say, a person from where they came from? Look at if you start at this page, this guy's Zzurayass Nuclear. Look at his old videos, and you look at now. Look at all the 34 views, and this guy had this page up for 4 years. Right? We had our pages on. We had up to 20,000 viewers, 20,000 subscribers, things like that. And we had pages taken down because YouTube got flagged because they didn't like how in detail our videos were. See, we wasn't up here babbling. I wasn't up here babbling. I wasn't up here saying things that didn't make any sense. I put myself out here to answer questions. I put myself and I stood on this teaching of MENTELLECT and everything that I taught. And nobody stood up against me. You had a few clowns that call themselves trying to, but they failed. And we still here and we teaching. So to have somebody who comes into a community acting as though they are sincere, you see, acting as though they are sincere. I'm up to a year ago, Eternal Euphoria. There's nothing really on his page, 68 views. Nobody's really checking for him. So for you to keep making videos like this, right? For you to start making videos like this, and then all of a sudden, you get this burst of intelligence, because it's not the first time I had this happen, almost happen. Many of you guys, I probably don't remember this guy. He called himself, I forget what this guy's name is, King something. I forget what he called himself. But he listened to one of my radio broadcasts and then tried to start copying me and talking like me. But then that lasted for long. I forget what his name is. He's irrelevant. I ain't heard from this guy. He's a guy from Chicago who had dirty dreads and whatnot. I forget what this guy's name is. King something. I forget. But anyway, back to this guy, Nicolas Jackson, a.k.a. Zzurayass Nuclear. All right. So we're up to a year now, and it's still 97 views, 54 views, things like that. Until about 11 months ago. All right. Because my biggest thing and the foundation of everything I teach is about logic and rational thinking. That's all I teach. All right. We go back to, because there was a video he did where he talked about how he's leaving the Republic of MENTELLECT and he's evolving and whatnot. But then you start seeing his titles, which I became some of my people, my real followers, by the way. Nicolas Jackson, a.k.a. Zzurayass Nuclear, is not the leader of anything. There's no organization. There's no community. He's just copying me. Everything from his radio intro is copying me. And that's a little unnerving, and it's a little weird and strange that somebody would sit up here and plagiarize you, copy you to the T, obviously wish they could be you. Because if you're going to sit up here and lie about the fact that you are the head of a community, which you are not, Nicolas Jackson from Las Vegas, falsely calling yourself Zzurayass Nuclear, which you use the word Kles, and I told you don't use it because that's part of our language, and you set up here, and I got the inbox messages where you threatened me for telling the truth about you, which you know you ain't going to do shit. But anyway, this is a person who claims to be about the evolution of our people. This is a person who claims to be a receiver, but why is he lying to the people? Why is Nicolas Jackson, a.k.a. Zzurayass Nuclear, some name he made up? Why is he lying to the people? Did he legally change his name to Zzurayass Nuclear? Is he just really Nick Jackson? See, because I'm really Nuben Menkares. I changed my name to Nuben Menkares legally. I own the rights to the word MENTELLECT in audio and in video form. I own the rights to the word MENTELLECT. As a community Republican MENTELLECT, I own the rights to that. I put out all this stuff, like I said, I put out all of this intel, and I can't really stop people from copying me. I can't stop people from repeating me, but I will expose you. I will expose you. My people have been on his page, and he tried to make it seem like we got a hate campaign going against him. He acting like he don't know why we doing this. But the reality is he knows why we doing this, because he's copying me, and he is doing you all who listen to him, he is doing you a disservice. Why do I say that? Because he's copying from me, and he's leaving a lot of stuff out. He's leaving out a lot of things like almond, which I brought forward. He don't want to say almond because then everybody would know that is coming from MENTELLECT, because I was the only one picking almond up and bigging almond up, and he definitely don't want to say MENTELLECT. He don't want to say the things that are directly connected to me, but he'll use things like ultra standing, which is a word that I came through with. There was nothing about no ultra standing before I brought that forward. And the trademark on that word is about to go through. And so you will be stopping using that word if you use it again, Nicolas. All right. So not to be someone who is, I'm not trying to come off as someone who is hating on anybody, but if someone copies you, if somebody just comes behind you and tries to plagiarize your work, the work that you put in. See, I spend money on my radio broadcast. See, Nicolas don't spend money on his cast. He does free radio. This is why you hear his radio broadcast, the audio sounds crappy. See, he don't spend no money on it because he can't afford it. He couldn't even afford to pay $144. And then he turns around in one of his videos and says that he's giving the people the knowledge for free, and I was charging people $144. No, I wasn't. That wasn't what it was for, because anybody can go listen to my broadcast right now, and you're going to listen for free. I was never charging anybody. The only time I'm going to charge is on our Patreon channel is coming up, because we're putting on the raw and uncut stuff, all the stuff that YouTube didn't want on the broadcast, one on their platform. So we're going to put the raw and uncut stuff from MENTELLECT on there. So we're going to give the link eventually to that, and we're going to keep updating you on the plagiarism of Nicolas Jackson, a.k.a. Zzurayass Nuclear, whatever he calls himself. You can really see that if you look in this person's eyes and how he talks, he has mental issues. Okay? So like I said, I'm scrolling through his timeline right now. Right? And like I said, 102 views, 48 views. Nobody was checking for him. Nobody. All right? It wasn't until, hold on, mental poison and degeneracy, the attack on masculinity a year ago. What else? Solar extension. These are all topics I covered. He's copying from me. I could go on and on. This is when he started getting more views. I mean, in the beginning, he wasn't really getting nothing, but then the unrighteousness of a patriarchal society. So this person is speaking against patriarchy. I speak for it. See, all the early stuff, he's speaking anti-MENTELLECT. He's speaking anti-my message. And then when he gets into a copying, then he starts to change his story. Then all of a sudden the difference between spirituality and spirit and soul, that's copied from me. Solar beings, all of that. Misinformers are no good in evolving. Well, that would be you, Nicolas. Misinformers are no good in evolving. You are misinforming the people, Zzurayass Nuclear, because you're not telling them really where you're copying your so-called intel from, which is coming from me. And like I said, you deprive the people of the real raw and uncut message, which they can find on any of the MENTELLECT channels, and which is still up on YouTube. The biggest one we got is MENTELLECT channel 144, which is 20,000 subscribers. I think we got a shadow ban on that because we're going to keep putting out material. I put out material every day. And see, the thing Nicolas Jackson, a.k.a. Zzurayass Nuclear, will never do is he will never answer questions. Tell him to come out live and answer questions. Tell him to do a live radio show like we do on MENTELLECT Radio on Blog Talk and answer questions. He's not going to do it because what he does every night or every few days is he studies my radio broadcast. Because, like I said, my radio broadcasts are free, which makes me scratch my head and wonder why he would say I was charging people $144 a month to listen to the broadcast, and that's not true. That's false. We have a real community, and we all support the community. And I asked everybody to support it by giving $144 a month. This is our sacrifice in supporting our community. And for that, they get books in this community. Like I said, we all have a business we got going together. There's a lot of things as members that he didn't hang around for that benefit because, like I said, anything that you claim to stand for, you have to take care of. Like I said, we had a lot of phony people in here who came in here like Nicolas to obviously take information, take what he wanted, take what he had to study, and then go back out and teach the world. But to teach people and lie to people, which, again, this intel is already out. I put it out. So for you people who are his followers on his page who don't know about MENTELLECT, this is where it comes from. And see, like I said, by subscribing to him, paying this guy attention, y'all doing yourself a disservice. If you really want to hear the real foundation of Nick's teachings, then like I heard him regurgitate what I was saying, and he did it verbatim, but he missed a lot of key things. You know, go to the MENTELLECT channels or call into MENTELLECT Radio. Call into MENTELLECT Radio, and you can hear us every night live. You can get your answers live. You ain't got to sit around listening to Nick telling lies because he's already deceiving the people already because he's not going to tell you the truth of where he's copying from. And I done had my people in his comment section on YouTube trying to expose him, but he removes all the links to the shows where we tell you he copied from. We show you the videos right where he copies from. And you can hear more. He's doing you the service. So what he's really ultimately doing is standing in the way of you all receiving this real knowledge, where's the source of where it's really coming from. He's standing in the way of that because he wants attention. He don't give a damn about no evolution or no evolving. He got the spirit of a female on him because that's what females want. They want attention. They don't care about anything other than attention. He don't care that he's sitting up here. No, he's copying me. No, he's concealing that, knowing that then he makes a video and tells about F me and F the MENTELLECT and he outgrew us. But then why are you still copying us? Because all his latest stuff is MENTELLECT. Everything. Misinformers are no good for evolving. You a misinformer, Nick, because you lying to the people. Let me see more. I'm gonna read all of the things. My enlightenment journey. That word enlightenment comes from me. That was 74 views 11 months ago. My enlightenment journey. All right? Let me see. He wasn't using that word before me. That came from me. Let me see. I'm just looking because I'm pretty sure I'm just looking at the titles of them. I'm not even listening to none of the videos. I can't stand to listen to his voice. But because when you know the reality that people are just plagiarizing you, and basically he's making the message, he's watering down the message. He's not giving it to you raw and uncut. He's watering it down because he's trying to put his spin on it, and he's trying to put it. See, when you're trying to build on another man's foundation or another woman's foundation, you're always going to fall short, and people are deprived of what the original people who brought the message had to give. He is no different than the so-called white man. Nicolas Jackson is no different than the so-called white man. Why do I say that? Because the so-called white man conceals a lot of our history and the real history. You see, not the fake history. Like the real history that we're the real Native Americans and that the Native Americans had afros and woolly hair. We didn't have no damn straight hair. Like I said, but he'll conceal it and try to bring about something that came later, these Asians who mixed in with us. But, you know, I'm just using this as an example of what I'm talking about. He will conceal that the so-called Egyptians were bronze-skinned people, and that the Olmecs and all the bronze-skinned people, we built all the first societies and things like that. See, this is what I teach in MENTELLECT. You see, Nick will try and copy that. He's just like the so-called white man. He's not going to tell you the reality or the truth, for lack of a better word. He's not going to tell you the truth about where it comes from. So you miss out on the real transmission. You miss out. Even the word transmission came from me. He wasn't saying that. You see? And like I said, feel bad. It's not even about me because I'm going to go on and keep doing work. But what I feel bad about is that somebody like this can come along and try and take on teachings and act as though it's coming from him, and he's concealing it from the people, not saying, look, I got this from U.N.O.N.C. This is my own interpretation of what U.N.O.N.'s saying. If you want to go to the source, go to MENTELLECT channels, any of the MENTELLECT channels. He's trying to conceal that. He's actually sitting up here trying to conceal it. And you people, that's his subscribers who talking about how great he sounds and great teachings and how he's teaching, this is really sad. I'm just assuming that you all don't know that Nick is plagiarizing from me. U.N.O.N.C. I'm the one, like I said, my people have been putting in the comment section on his videos just to show you where this is coming from. And he erases the links. That proves that he's like the white man. He don't want you to get the real truth. He don't want you to have the truth, the real truth. See, because then what happens is that takes attention away from Nick. And Nick is like a female, like I said. He wants attention. That's why he's doing this. He don't care about nothing else. It ain't about sharing no knowledge. He just wants y'all to tell him how great he is, because obviously in the back of his mind, deep down, he don't feel so great. He don't feel so accomplished. He even went as far as to say that he said F all the members in the Republican MENTELLECT, and he talking about we going to have to kill him to make him stop copying me. That's what he actually had the nerve to say. So this person's already mentally ill. You're going to listen to somebody like this. Right? I'll read you some more of the titles. That's my titles. Let me see. The limited 3D, what we need to know. That comes from me. Mental manipulation, new energy. Let me see. Ether night. He wasn't talking about no ether before. Stop believing and begin thinking. That comes from me, because I always was pro thought over belief. That all comes from me. All this is copied from Nick and his time in the Republican MENTELLECT. Him listening to radio broadcasts that he claimed I was charging people for, but Nick, you still listening to the broadcast and you stealing from me. Now, like I said, all you gotta do is look at the MENTELLECT channels. All you gotta do, my people are gonna put out the comparative videos where Nick is copying from me. One he recently did about the difference between 9 ether and 10 ether. 10 ether came from me. 9 ether came from Dr. Malachi York. I started talking about 10 ether. And I also talked about, I did a video called 100 ether. That's where he copied most of his latest broadcasts from. He copied me verbatim. It's like he studies me. I don't know if he writes it down, he records it, and he studies it. If you listen to him talk, it doesn't even sound natural. Just pay attention. Connecting with our higher senses. See, this is where his views started to gradually pick up. See, because prior to when he was talking, nobody was really checking for him. Let me see. Dawn of a New Planet, that's mine. Those are bits and pieces of my stuff. And I didn't even listen to it, but I already know my titles already, because I already know. I looked at Nick. I know what I taught, and people were telling me that this guy's copying me. Right? The open growth to development. Let me see. Real solar images, solar energy versus lunar energy. That's all my stuff. This is 11 months ago. You see, Nashville 109. You start to pick up gradually. Faster moon and sun revolutions. The 3 Ps that trap us in the 3D. That's all from me. Let me say this. I'm pretty sure he's going to say people, place, and possession. Let me see. But like I said, that all comes from me. The whole 3 Ps thing comes from me. You know, and he sits up here, and the sad thing is, he does this, and hold on, I'm gonna read more, because there's more. Like I said, the mass majority of the things that he started talking about over a year ago, all that's my stuff, and that's sad that you have to go and do something like that. Living in the last days, that's mine. Mesoamerica Untold, that's mine. What else? Calling future leaders and doctors and whatnot. I did that. Nick, what are you calling people to do? To do what? To plagiarize like you? You're not no leader, Nicolas Jackson, a.k.a. Zzurayass Nuclear. Call for all bright and bronze people. That's from me. I started the bright and bronze thing. That came from me. Evolution, orange, evolution next. I don't know about the orange part, but I know about the next. All that comes from me. Let me see. Planet Nimbara, that word Nimbara, that came from me. Okay. Let me see. Brighter days on the horizon. Like I said, the whole bright thing came from me. And he even followed me from YouTube to DTube, because we went from YouTube and we went into DTube. Then he puts evolving from YouTube to DTube. See, even the whole evolution thing comes from me. All of that. Y'all listen to a plagiarist and a fraud. So, again, this ain't to tear him apart, because if he was, like I said, if he was doing his own thing for real and getting his own real reception, which to me, no man should try to build on another man's foundation. This is really sick and degenerate. This is what white people do. This is what Caucasians do. We've copied from our people, lied to our people, stolen our people's accomplishments, taking credit for our people's accomplishments. You tell me when Nicolas Jackson, Zzurayass, Nicolas is any different. You tell me where. Right? Another message from Dr. Delbert Blair. He could put something on from Delbert Blair thing up here. You see, that's all this guy does. Intel on the Beirut. You don't know, got no intel on nothing, Nick. You just making up stuff as you go along. And that's the sad part about it. You copy from me, and whatever you trying to fill in the blanks, you trying to fill it in yourself. You see? Let the solar holocaust commence. I was the one talking about the solar holocaust. All you got to do is listen to my broadcast. That's all. Let me see. You think this is a joke, brightness will prevail. You wrote, brightness will change. Again, you're not giving any brightness, Nick, because you lying. You no different than the white man. You lying and you concealing. The humans plot to replace the bright receivers. That's all my stuff. The humans plot. Who are you talking about, the humans? I bet you, before I start talking to the so-called white men, the Asians, and the Caucasians were humans, and we were the almond race. So then ask Nicolas this question. If he's talking about the humans, who are we if we're not part of humans? Ask Nicolas that. He's not going to say almond, and if he do, you already know where it came from. Humans plot to replace the bright receivers. Nicolas, you're not no bright receiver. All that bright receiver stuff and referring to the Caucasians, Asians, and East Indians as the human race, and we as the almond race, that all come from me. The bright race, all from me. Why the rainbow represents, let me see, bright intelligence, that came from me. Nothing changes around, that come from me. Let me see. The human's last chance of survival. That sounds like one of my titles or something around what I would say. See, it's around, this like 9, 10 months or 11 months ago, he started copying me. You see, mind over matter, tap into your magic. Again, well, I never use that magic nonsense. Beware of nigger vibration. That's you, Nick. You know what I'm saying? Either you with us or against us. Us who, Nick? The developing a diamond mindset. That whole diamond mindset and all that evolving into the diamondated race, that all comes from me. The age of enlightenment, that's all me. All of this stuff, 9 months ago, he had 93 views on it. See? And you know the reason why a lot of people are not watching? Because a lot of people know my stuff. A lot of people know my stuff, and they know that you're a fraud, Nick. And I want you people out there who have subscribed to Nicolas Zzurayass, Nicolas, the fraud, the con man, those people who subscribe to him to know that he's copying me, the Mentares. You can hear the ant-human frequency, that's mine. High vibrations will disturb the dead. Let me see, the benefits of carbon, that's mine. Fourth dimension versus fifth dimensional versus fifth dimension. There's no fifth dimension. You see, logic and rationale. He's just making up stuff. The fourth dimension I brought out. Let me see. Let me check my time. Okay, another 15 minutes. I want to get this out here and make it clear, because all he's going to do is keep. And see, the only reason why my people, we put links from MENTELLECT channels into his thing is because we're trying to show the people where he's copying from. And if y'all really want the true intel, the full intel, because I would assume that you would want something full and complete, something real. I would assume that you all would want that instead of what Nicolas is doing, because this is really sad and pathetic what he's doing. This is very sad. This is very pathetic. I would assume that you would all want the real, raw, and uncut teachings and whatnot, and you wouldn't want some watered-down version like what Nicolas is giving. And it's just sad that you all would stick up for this guy. Because as so-called black people, bronze people, again, he's talking about getting rid of the nigger mentality. This is nothing but pure niggerism, what he's doing. You don't build on another person's foundation and then claim you bright. You don't copy from another person and say, you know, we got to get out this nigga mentality. And what you're doing is pure nigga nonsense. Evolving. We got to evolve from YouTube to D2. Okay. Let me see. Letting go of three-dimensional concepts. That's me. Right? Next is community. Next is our survival. All that next talk is me. Why pragmatic bronze people? Why it's pragmatic bronze people unify? Oh, that's me. Call for bright bronze people. That's me. All the bright bronze talk. All those terminologies came from me. You see, and it's sad that this person could sit up here and do this with a straight face. You all need to unsubscribe from his channel. Don't give this guy no attention. He's a black devil, straight up. Straight up. Because for anybody to do that, that's straight up pure black devil nonsense. The power of thought, that's me. Even though that's a tender tie, I'll let him have that. But I was talking on the power of thought. But I'm going to let him have that. Because then that's pretty much a lot of people use that title. But I'm telling you, definitely came from me. The mass awakening of bronze golden race, inspired by me, adjusting energy shifts. All of this is evolution, not changing. Earth, mind, body, soul. It's brand next night. Okay, from light spectrum to bright spectrum. That's me. That's all me. Spectrums of bright to bright. See, all that's my stuff. And my people are going to prove everything. Like I said, all you got to do is go on the MENTELLECT channel. You'll see all those files, and you'll hear exactly where he's copying from. And I told you, I've been teaching this stuff going back 2-3 years, stuff that he's regurgitating. He goes back and listens to my old archives on MENTELLECT Radio. He's one of the listeners. Oh, he'll go to the videos and take what he want to take, and then he'll come back and repackage it. This right here, from carbon beings to diamond plasma beings, that's mine. That's mine. 4D babies, our focus in 2020, that's mine. That's an ego. That's mine. And here's a person that would make a video, charge me with 101001. I came from me. Let me see. The science of digestion, the snake nerve by sunshine, the snake nerve, all that reptilian, all that comes from me. Why black people will never will continue to be mental slaves. That comes from me. See, all that comes from me. The end of tunnel, let me see. Moving in instantaneous, that come from me. This is all my stuff. Limitless thinkers, now and next, that's me. Is marijuana secretly destructive? I don't know about that, you know. From carbon beings to diamond, that's mine. Moving instantaneous, ascension out of the sunken place, that's mine. Soul collectors and spirit, you know. Why community, let me see. Why the community offsets 2D and 3D algorithms. That's inspired by me, the 2D and the 3D, all the algorithm crap he got from the white man. All right. Let me see. Vibration and frequency, enter and outer, that's mine. Continuous ignition, soul, the red and blue, that's all, that's mine. The end of black power and the rise of the bronze supremacy, that's mine. From light spectrum to bright spectrum, that's mine. Journey to immortality, that's mine. See, I can keep going on. Thinking beyond brightness, that's mine. You know, next Nubians of nuclear. Now he's trying to be next Nubians. That's what he was trying, next Nubians. That's partly taken from my name. Cause why are you putting Nubians here? That's from my name, Nubian. Luminaries of the next, that's mine. Society builders of the next world, that's mine. Walking a straight and narrow path, that's mine. Genetic mutation, that's not mine. On the path of continuance, that's mine. Necessary judges of the next society, that's mine. Harnessing the power of the sun, that's mine. I'm giving you all the stuff. This is my evolution beyond time, that's mine. All I'm telling you, this is why. Now you see, he didn't take a little bit. He took a whole chunk out of MENTELLECT. And he's claiming it as his own. And he's misleading the people. So I'm going to set the record straight tonight, which is why I'm doing this. Again, this has nothing to do with no ego thing or me wanting to be, oh, you know, look at me. Nah, I don't do it for that because I've been doing this too long and teaching too long, and I got a real community and real people know my teaching. I don't like when people plagiarize my stuff and give it back to you because, like I said, that's giving back a shitty product. That's a shitty product. That's like me going in the recording studio and recording my album, and then some nigga come along and bootleg my album like what Nicolas Jackson's doing. He's a bootlegger. That's what you call a bootlegger. Which do you want? Do you want the real straight up product in the recording studio where it's all masked, everything is thought out, everything is laid out? Or do you want the bootleg version for nothing? The bootleg version with stuff missing, watered down. What do you want? Do you want the real raw and uncut, or do you want the bootleg? Because if you're listening to this guy, Zzurayass Nuclear, a.k.a. Nicolas Jackson from Las Vegas, that's who he really is, and he's not the head of any community. If you listen to this guy, all he's going to do is give you a bunch of watered-down garbage. Let me see, Beyond Evolution. I'm reading all the stuff he copied from me. Channeling the neutral energy, that's mine. Remote viewing into the next world, that's mine. Let me see. Message to the taking the higher road. Now watch that video where he sits up here and curses me out and whatnot, taking the higher road, but you copying from me. All right, let me see. Masculine and feminine merges of the next, that's mine. All this is my stuff. Standing up for yourself, whatever. Mental breakdown, let me see. Mental breakthrough, that's mine. See, I'm reading most of his stuff right now. His newest stuff is my stuff. Eternal expanding the minds of the future, bronze race, that's mine. The atmosphere, the Oregon, whatever that nonsense is he talking about. Sons of suns, that's mine. Mental gravitation, that's mine. Becoming pure etheric plasma, that's mine. These all stuff coming directly. He copied directly from me. He took bits and pieces of what he wanted to take, and then he wanted to mix in his nonsense with it. So again, you're trying to build on somebody else's foundation, Nick. The coming of next Earth, that's mine. But I says planet Almond coming. See, again, he's making up stuff. Shifting beings. Oh, I want to get to the latest stuff. Living as extended ones, that's mine. What are you doing next? That's mine. See, it's so much. Eternal expansion, that's mine. Evolution of the bronze, DEA. That whole DEA came from me. You see, that's electroalkaline. That comes from me. Electroalkaline. That comes from me. I brought that terminology out because prior to that, people were saying DNA. I came out with the DEA. I brought that knowledge out. Well, I said alkaline. I said that's what our genetic material is made up of, and I broke it down. I bet you he didn't. The purity of intelligence, that's mine. Forward thinking in the next way of life, that's mine. Eternal pure flame, all that's mine. The all-seeing eye beyond, that's mine. Pure, from 9 ether to 10 ether, that's mine. This is his latest stuff. Genetic, the latest one he did 2 days ago, genetic bronze, reptilian genetics versus human animal genetics. That's all mine. That's all my stuff. You see? And when we come and bring it out, he wants to block it. He wants to take our comments off because he don't want y'all finding out. That's why he takes off the comments. I thought the comment section was for comments. Why is he concealing the message? Why is he concealing? You see? All forwarding motions create frequency, vibrate. That's mine. Let me see. I named at least over 25 to 30 videos I got over here where he copied from me. And this is where he started getting higher numbers. When he started copying from me, evolution of the bronze, I got that. How the gathering of the has shift. All this stuff. When he started using my titles, that's when his numbers went up. That's why he ain't trying to stop using MENTELLECT. That's why. That's why he's not trying to stop copying from me, because when he was just out here and Nick, why wasn't Nick he was up here 4 years, and you go back and look at his views, 20 views, 9 views, nobody was checking for him. Nobody. So that tells you right there, where was all the transmission then? Where was all the transmission? Where all this transmission come from? All of a sudden, all this knowledge he dropped, why wasn't he dropping it 2, 3, 4 years ago? Why after you come out the Republic of MENTELLECT, why after listening to me, ex-member of the Republic of MENTELLECT, you copying right from me, all my topics? And the sad thing is you have no shame about that. You have no shame, and the sad thing is y'all, as the people who listening, you actually think what he's doing is right. Again, this is why black people are in the condition they in. This is exactly why. Because of stuff like this. He's perpetrating a fraud. He's perpetrating a fraud, and y'all are part and parcel with it, because if y'all are not, y'all should be sitting up here unsubscribing from his channel, or don't even give him no attention, or flag his videos. See, because like I said, to me, what you're doing is the equivalent of a so-called white man. You see, the humans. What you got from me referring to Caucasians, Asians, the East Indians, the humans, Nick, all that come from me. Why don't you tell the truth, Nick? Because ain't nobody going to watch you no more. You can't have the attention no more. You hate the fact that you felt like I was in this doing it for money, doing it for the attention. That shows you a black person, because if you really were a bright man, as you claim to be, you would know it's bigger than that. And you would know that not to sit up here and copy Mentellect. And why I'm going to do a broadcast on why people shouldn't copy Mentellect is because, number one, you're going to take out the foundational points of Mentellect, which is, in fact, Mentellect. You just ain't saying Mentellect, because then it would link to me and you taking out Ahmed. So, again, this is why you're not going to bring that out. You'll act like it's coming from you. You are deceptive like the so-called white man, Nick. You are no different. You vibrate on the same spiritual frequency as the so-called white man. That's why you made that video back a few years ago talking about everybody needs to be spiritual. I was never talking no spiritual stuff. I was always pure soul. Always. So when you come with this nonsense about peace, power, and soul, nigga, you was talking about the spirit. You was on some spiritual journey. Go back and look at this thing. Well, how did that change? Why all of a sudden did that change? Answer, because you heard me make the differentiation, and I said we supposed to be soul beings, and you jumped on that, and you hopped on it, and you took it, and you ran with it. That is the most black devilish thing you could do. Nicolas Jackson, Zzurayass Nuclear, with your fake name and your fake U.N.O.N.C head of an organization. You even try. Go listen to my radio broadcast. You see, he even tried to steal from how I make my introduction. He even copied down how I make my, and this is really sad. You see, that's like your favorite rapper. Some guy saying, you listen to the favorite rapper, or you wrote a rap verse, and then some nigga come behind you and recite what you saying, trying to copy your style and copy your verses. How would you feel? We should never, ever celebrate copycats, plagiarists, liars. We should never celebrate that. And I stand on mine. I ain't never copied from nobody. And if anybody want to come and say that, like I said, I do a radio broadcast every night from 7 days a week, 7 nights a week, from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 12 p.m. And I open my calls, open calls. The number for ours is 646-200-4444. And that's no coincidence they gave me the 4444 number. You see, because I was the one bringing out the fourth dimension, number 4, heavily. 646-200-4444. Go and expose this guy. This guy needs to be exposed. Zzurayass Nuclear. And another clown that's with him, New Bright 10, another former follower of mine. This clown is on Instagram, and he's taking bits and pieces from Mentellect too. This guy's from he's from Minneapolis, somewhere in Minnesota somewhere. New Bright 10 and Zzurayass Nuclear. These clowns were ex-members of the Republic of Mentellect. And like I said, I would respect it if you would have said, I'm copying from Nubin, and this is my interpretation, but y'all should go and listen to the source. That would be more respectful if you did that. And that would be more sincere if you truly cared about the evolution of the people, because you would want them to have the direct connection. That just goes to show you don't care about what the direct connection people get. You care about Nicolas Jackson, a.k.a. Zzurayass Nuclear, being out in the forefront, which is not even your real name. That's just some crap you made up. And that lesbian you with, the one sitting up here, that one you sitting up here going with some lesbian, that just go to show, man, you bugged out of your mind, man. Some chick who got an open infatuation for lesbians. But that just go to show you. You bugged out of your mind, Nick. But we're going to keep putting these videos out. Every time he puts a video out, we're going to take clips, and my people are going to show them, we're going to expose them, and this is going to play over all our clips. We'll let you know. Because everybody should know, since Nick want to put this out here, we're going to put it out here. Since Nick want to put this out here, we're going to put this out here. We're going to let the truth be known. As long as he keep putting out videos, he shouldn't have a problem with it if it's all about the reality. Because Nick want to hide our comments. He want to take off our comments. He want to take off the links to where the real intel is coming from. That sounds like a black devil to me. I don't know what y'all call it. That's a straight up black devil. And that's it, man. Just look out for more videos on this guy. We're going to be exposing this guy, Zzurayass Nuclear. We're going to be exposing this guy on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, everything. Everybody should know who this clown is. And this guy, New Bright 10. These are imposters and copycats. Do not listen to these people or subscribe to their channel. And that's it. Closing out in the name of Amen, by the power of Amen, and Amen we trust, and Amen we thank, and Amen we continue forward forever. Hail Amen. Hail the Republic of Mentellect and the elect, the real bright race, the Amen race. See, you're not going to hear this from Nicolas Jackson. But y'all take care, and y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Peace, love and light, my star family. Welcome back. With this video, I'm going to show you. I'm going to open up more or less more logical thinking in this video to show that we are the true reptilian people, not these so-called orcs. They're, like I said, these humans. They have part of our DNA, but we are the original reptilians from the cosmos. But they talk about the Anunnaki, the Enlil, but we are the Enki being here on the ground. But we are the descendants of these people, these reptilian people. I did my own test. You can do your own research. I have microscopes. I actually, analyzed our DNA, our skin through a microscope, and you can see that it's similar to snake skin, reptilian skin. So I'm going to end it right here. Peace, love, and light. Take a look at this video, like, subscribe, and share. I love you.